The Texas Longhorns 2024 season has been nothing short of spectacular, with their recent 31-14 victory over Kentucky solidifying their position as a top contender in the SEC. This win keeps the Longhorns tied for first in the conference and sets the stage for a monumental showdown against Texas A&M next week. The Longhorns' journey to this point has been filled with impressive performances, breakout stars, and a sense of destiny that has fans dreaming about a national title. The dub over Kentucky was a testament to the Longhorns' well-roundedness and their ability to execute on both sides of the ball. I know Kentucky is 1-7 in the SEC, but this really could have been a trap game, with them looking towards that A&M game. I mean, we literally saw A&M do it with Auburn.
I think our focus is single-handedly on on Auburn right now and locked in on what we got to get done.
Quinn Ewers, who was potentially playing in his last home game at Texas Memorial Stadium, showed his leadership and poise by connecting with Gunnar Helm for two crucial touchdowns in the first half. Ewers finished the game an efficient 20 of 31 for 191 yards, extending his impressive streak of consecutive games with a touchdown pass to 22. This kind of consistency from the quarterback position has been a key factor in the Longhorns' success throughout this year. I know it's kind of obvious to say that, but even from some of the biggest names in the game, we've seen bad nights and bad upsets. However, the real story of the Kentucky game was the Longhorns' ground attack, which absolutely dominated all aspects of the Wildcats' defense. Quintrevion Wisner was a force to be reckoned with, rushing for a career-high 158 yards and a touchdown. His explosive runs and ability to break tackles kept Kentucky's defense on their heels all game long. Complementing Wisner's performance was Jaden Blue, who added 96 yards and a score of his own. The team's season-high 251 rushing yards showcased their ability to dominate on the ground and control the tempo of the game, which made things really easy on Ewers and the receivers. It was nice to have a game where the backs could take control, because we all know next week is about to be a dogfight. A&M is gonna come in hungry after what just happened to them. But this balanced offensive attack has become a hallmark of the 2024 Longhorns. The ability to hurt opponents through the air with Ewers and the underrated talent they have on the receiving end, while also having a steady dose of pounding the rock with the dynamic backs, has made Texas one of the most feared offenses in college football. It's this versatility that has opponents struggling to make a good game plan against this team week after week. And in this game, the Longhorns defense was equally impressive, shutting down Kentucky's attack and making life tough for Cutter Boley. They held Kentucky to just 232 total yards and a mere 21 rushing yards after Boley had negative 57. It showed the dominance of the Texas front seven and the excellent game planning by Pete Kiewakowski. The defensive front had 6 sacks and 11 tackles for a loss, proving why they're considered one of the best units in the nation. And they're gonna need to show up next week, and especially beyond that, if this team wants to accomplish their dreams of actually finally making that run for the title. Anyways, now in terms of the season as a whole, I want to talk about some specific players who have stepped up and provided big moments. Andrew Makuba had a big interception in the Kentucky game, and he has just been an all-star this year. That's literally what his own teammates called him.
Drew, come here real quick. This is about you, so I want to answer it right. This guy right here, he's an all-star, this dude's an all-star, and I'm proud of him. I was happy that he get to come back from being hurt. He took the mental approach, and he stayed locked in, mentally focused, getting us ready at practice and still being a leader. So, he deserves it. He deserves it all, and he got a pick for the city, so I love him, and I'm happy for Drew for that. So, appreciate it, brother.
Anthony Hill Jr., the sophomore linebacker, has lived up to his 5-star billing, racking up 79 tackles and 7.5 sacks in limited snaps. His knack of diagnosing plays and making stops in the backfield has been impressive, adding another dimension to an already formidable defense. On top of this, he also has 4 forced fumbles and an interception. So Ant continues to prove his case for the Butkus Award, and some people really think he will finish his career as one of the best linebackers ever, especially as he gets stronger. And then there's Malik Muhammad, the sophomore cornerback who has put his ball hawking skills on full display, forming a formidable duo in the secondary. Muhammad's ability to create turnovers has given the offense extra possessions and changed the momentum of several games this season. His development really has been pretty crucial in solidifying the Longhorns' pass defense into becoming one of the stingiest in the SEC. Ethan Burke has also built on his 5.5 sack campaign from last year. His relentless pass rush that is often overlooked has forced quarterbacks into mistakes and helped the secondary shine. He's been a solid part of controlling the line of scrimmage. With a 10-1 record, Texas is on the brink of securing a spot in the SEC championship. The upcoming rivalry game against Texas A&M ain't just about the in-state rivalry. It's a ticket to Atlanta and a chance to prove that they're the best in the conference. The Longhorns' success in their first season in the SEC has silenced critics who questioned whether they could compete in the nation's toughest conference, but their physical style of play, particularly on defense, has proven well suited to the SEC's brand of football. Moving forward, as I mentioned, there are no more blowover games. Every game will be in front of the brightest lights, and the Longhorns need to focus on maintaining their balanced approach. The ability to hurt teams both through the air and on the ground has been a key to their success, and it keeps opponents guessing, and it has opened up opportunities for big plays. Additionally, the front seven's ability to pressure quarterbacks and stop the run has been impressive, and maintaining this level of play against top-tier competition will be big. And let's talk and go a little more in depth on the game against the Aggies, because this really still is a prove-it game for Texas, whether you want to admit it or not. I know they've been pretty dominant this season, but their win over Michigan does not hold as much weight anymore with how much they have struggled, and they really only have 2 wins against teams with winning records. So if Texas loses this game, they really could significantly drop in the rankings. I think they will still make the playoffs, but they could be a 10 through 12 seed. But nobody is worried about that. This upcoming game is going to be all hands on deck for both squads. The Longhorns face a defensive front that has been credited with 194 pressures this season. Nick Gordon and Shamar Stewart are future draft picks at the edge rushing positions, and I'm curious to see if the Longhorns offense can operate when pressured. And the Aggies are going to be fighting for their lives, because a win can put them in the SEC championship against Georgia. And if they beat both the Longhorns and Bulldogs somehow to end the season, even with 3 losses, they would get into the playoff. Anyways, in terms of Ewers and his injury, he just underwent an MRI that confirmed he only had a mild sprain, so he will be the starter and will be good to go. The sprain sure seemed to slightly affect him in that Kentucky game, but after another week of rest and the adrenaline he will be playing with in a game like this, I don't see it being a problem. Here is what the media has had to say about him and the Longhorns.
We get the turnover, Jelani McDonald's interception. We turn that into 7 points to score a touchdown. I think our last 7 turnovers that we've created, we've turned 5 of those into touchdowns, and the other 2 we drove the ball and then ended up taking a knee. And so the fact that we're playing off of each other that way. On the flip side, where I thought complementary football showed up in this game as well, was a couple of the turnovers there in the third quarter that our defense was able to take the field in a sudden change manner and give up no points. They forced the missed field goal, they forced a 4th down stop, and that's playing off of one another as well in doing it both ways. And so I thought that was really encouraging. Naturally, defensively, our ability to get to the quarterback the last couple weeks has been impressive. I think we have 12 sacks the last 2 weeks, 6 in each game, and in each game, 5 different players getting sacks in those games. And so it's not about relying on one player getting those sacks. A variety of guys are making those plays.
That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.